Hey everybody, today we're going to do a little bit of an instructional video. As I have mentioned before, the foot pegs were stripped out on the mounting bracket on my KLR. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to time-cert it. There are a bunch of different ways that people believe that you can do this. Time-cert is one. I've seen people helicoil it. I prefer time-certs over helicoils. I've seen many videos on YouTube regarding putting helicoils in. I don't like the side load personal preference when it comes to helicoils. It's a spring. They can easily be torn out if the side pressure is just right. That is why I'm going to a solid time-cert when it comes to putting on the foot pegs, because they are going to be loading basically my whole weight, and over rough terrain I just would, peace of mind, rather have something more solid in there. Tools that we're going to need, of course, is our time-cert kit. When it comes to the foot pegs, your time-cert you're going to want to get is M8 by 125 metric thread. I always have a little bit of Loctite. I prefer putting Loctite on the outside of the time-certs. That way I have peace of mind that they're going to be solid. You're going to need a tap handle, a drill, either pneumatic or electric. I like my electric one because I have a little bit more control over it. Can of WD-40 and a can of some kind of contact cleaner or brake cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and get my camera set up and take you guys on this instruction video. Okay, here we go. There might be a little bit of background noise because it's such a beautiful day here in Casa Grande, Arizona, that I couldn't help but want to work outside. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drill out our messed up threads with the provided drill bit. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Go ahead and clean off the drill bit itself. That way we don't have any extra metal shavings when we store it. I'm gonna also clean off these metal shavings. A little bit of contact cleaner. You can use a little bit of cutting oil. That will definitely help when drilling the drill bit. But it's such a shallow hole that I decided not to do it. I did use cutting oil on the other side and the drill bit just would not cut through. So next step, we're going to do the step for the actual time-cert itself, so it can actually sit recessed in. This I would recommend. Let's put a little bit of WD-40 on the bit. And we're going to put a little bit in the holes we just drilled. And this one might take a little bit of time, so here we go. Okay, we're getting a little warm, so let's add a little bit more of the WD-40. And we're going to clean off the step bit here. And continue to make our passes. And the step bit will actually stop when it is all the way in. As you can see there, we're not quite there yet. And there we go. We're flattened out, so let's go ahead and start on the other side. As you can see, I'm pulsing the throttle on the gun. It's a little bit easier and you have a little more control over it if you do that way, and you don't run the chance of getting a bit too hot and then it won't cut ever again. Okay, we're going to add a little more WD-40 to that and clean off our bits. And here we go. Okay, and we're bottomed out there. So we'll clean off our bit so we can put it away. A lot of the videos that I did find on YouTube were mostly videos of setting time certs in aluminum. Well, as most of you know, the frame on the KLR is not aluminum. It is steel, so there's going to be a higher strength when it comes to tensile strength of the TimeCert and being inserted in there. Again, we're mostly having side load. You're not going to be doing much pulling on your foot peg bracket. So let us go ahead and we're going to clean off our surface here. Okay. And next step is the actual threading. We're going to use a tap provided in the kit as well. I'm going to add a little bit of WD-40 to the tap. And you're going to want to get this as straight as you possibly can. They do have special tools that you can get to make sure that you are going in straight, but once it grabs, you'll know. And the trick to it is, once you get it started and it is going in straight, you're going to want to turn and then back out. You'll hear the little pop or the crack, and this one just does not want to go in straight there. Once you hear that little snap, it's basically breaking off the threads that you've cut. All the material is cleaned out. Oh. And getting it straight in there is definitely going to be the critical part, which it is fighting me right now. Hopefully we didn't mess this one up too bad, because if we did, then I am out of luck. Okay, looks like we're going. I don't know how well the microphone is on this camera, if you can hear the crunching when I go to reverse it. So you turn a little bit, back up. Turn a little bit, back up. And you're going to continue to do this until your tap will get real easy to turn. And you have basically come to the point to where you've bottomed out on the frame behind the hole. You're going to want to use hand tools on these. I've seen some people use drill bits, or I'm sorry, use drills on their taps, and it's not worth the risk of destroying what your work you've done so far. You saw how hard it was to get this one started. I already did the two on the other side, and you know, they went in smooth, no issues at all. We've gotten to the point now where it's actually gotten pretty easy, so we will continue to spin it till I feel it hit the bottom right there. So now we'll back all the way out. And there we go. Go ahead and clean off our tap. That way there's no debris fighting us when we go to do the next hole. And we're gonna add a little WD-40 to it. Okay. And here we go. Hole number 2. Let's see if this one works a little easier for us. One of my problems is I've got this frame sitting at an angle, which is probably not the smartest thing to do. And here he looks like we're going. Yep. There. So a little bit, turn back. A little bit, turn back. You want to be very careful with these taps. If they bind, they are such a hard steel that they will actually snap. And if you snap one of these taps inside your work, you're going to have to chisel it out, if you're even able to do that, because there is no drill bit that will drill through one of these hardened steel taps. Okay, looks like we're starting to get a little easier here, and we are through. So we'll go all the way until we can feel it stop right there, and we'll back it out. Okay, next step here, we're going to clean the tap off again. Set that aside. We're going to clean up our work. Make sure you get all the oil off. Get it from the WD-40. Make sure you get any shaving debris out of the way, because that's just going to fight us. Any of the WD-40 is going to not allow the thread locker to lock into place. Okay, next step here, we're going to get our 2 Time-Certs, and we have our Time-Cert here. The camera will focus. There, that's a little bit better. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a step on the top. That is to stop it from going all the way down in, and it will flare out on the bottom to stop it from coming out. Again, we will be using some Loctite, like I mentioned before, just a little peace of mind, and our thread tapping tool, which we have right here. We are going to want to add a little bit of WD-40 to the threads. Okay, once we do that, you basically just screw your threading tool in. I try to screw it in as far as it'll go. The last ones went all the way in. Looks like this one's only going halfway, so that is not that big of a deal. Then we're going to add a little bit of Loctite thread locker, both sides there. Again, I'm using high strength because I really don't plan on these ever coming out. And we'll get that started and ran in by hand. Then we will take our handy tap tool and just spin it. And you'll feel it get hard. And just keep on going. That's flaring out the bottom of that Time-Cert. And it looks like we have hit the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna slowly back it out. Just like that. One thing you'll notice is the threading tool is actually not perfectly round. It's kind of a square, round shape. It's hard to explain once you see it. What that does is that actually helps flare out our tool. So again, that one not quite all the way in. We're going to add a little bit of thread locker to this. Make sure you don't get any thread locker on your tool. Oh man, came right out. Doesn't look like we contaminated our threads, so we're good there. And we're going to run this in. And one way. And as you can see, it actually sets down below the surface, which is right where we want it to be. That way it's not going to interfere if we put on a center stand. Looks like we bottomed out there. So we're going to back it out. If you put on a center stand, it's not going to interfere. You won't have to do any grinding. It's just nice and clean. And I believe it's a lot easier working with these than it is with helicoils, especially when it comes to steel. Aluminum, yeah, you can get away with it. Especially if it's like an aluminum head or cylinder or something like that. Okay, we're cleaning off our tool. Set that to the side. And for our last test, I will grab it really quick. We're going to take a 8M by 125 bolt and we're going to run it through. Make sure everything's good. Got that right here, so we're going to run it in, and sometimes it won't go all the way through. That's fine. Just get your wrench and tighten it all the way up till it bottoms out. Looks like that is a successful install. Okay, and now we will double check our other side. And there you go. All the way in until we bottom out. And like that. Always use hand tools when you're doing this. You can feel a lot better if something's binding or not working properly if you're using a hand tool over a power tool. And there we go. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see. There's our Time-Cert below the surface and solid. So that is going to be the end of the video today. I appreciate everybody coming over to watch. And again, thank you everybody for all of your support. We'll see you soon. Bye.